Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day. You're listening to the RX Daily Dose. Today's episode is being recorded for Monday, May 3rd, and I'm your host, Ian Parnagoni. We update this podcast for healthcare providers, medical professionals, and anyone who has an interest in drug updates. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms and social media, including iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. All links can be found in the show notes below. So in today's episode, we have 2 new products approved by the FDA this week, both for types of cancer. First is Jemperli, approved with specific indications for endometrial cancer, and also Zynlonta, approved for specific types of large B-cell lymphoma. As always, feel free to skip around. I'm going to include times in the show notes so you get the drugs that interest you. To start us off this week, the FDA granted accelerated approval to dostarlimab, which goes by brand name Jemperli, for treating patients with recurrent or advanced endometrial cancer that has progressed on or following prior treatment with a platinum-containing chemotherapy, and whose cancers have a specific genetic feature known as dMMR, which contain abnormalities that affect the proper repair of DNA inside the cell. Endometrial cancer is the most common gynecologic cancer in the US, and its prevalence is increasing. Approximately 75% of endometrial cancers are diagnosed at an early stage and are typically curable with surgery. However, women with advanced and recurrent endometrial cancer have limited therapeutic options following first-line standard treatment with a platinum-containing chemotherapy regimen. Approximately 25 to 30% of patients with advanced endometrial cancer have dMMR tumors. Jemperli works by targeting the cellular pathway known as programmed death 1 or PD-1. The product binds to the PD-1 receptor and blocks its interaction with the PD-1 ligands, PDL1 and PDL2, which are proteins found on the body's immune cells and some cancer cells. Jemperli helps the body's immune system in its fight against cancer cells by blocking this pathway. The safety and efficacy of Jemperli was studied in a single-arm, multi-cohort clinical trial. Of the 71 patients with dMMR recurrent or advanced endometrial cancer who received Jemperli in the trial, 42.3% had a complete response or a partial response to treatment with Jemperli. For 93% of responders, the response lasted for 6 months or longer. Common side effects of Jemperli include fatigue, nausea, diarrhea, anemia, and constipation. Jemperli can cause serious conditions known as immune-mediated side effects, including inflammation of healthy organs such as the lungs, colon, liver, endocrine glands, and kidneys. Patients who experience severe or life-threatening infusion-related reactions should stop taking Jemperli. Women who are pregnant or breastfeeding should not take Jemperli because it may cause harm to a developing fetus or newborn baby. The safety and effectiveness of Jemperli in pediatric patients is not known. Jemperli received priority review designation and breakthrough therapy designation for this indication. Priority review designation directs overall attention and resources to the evaluation of applications for drugs that, if approved, would be significant improvements in the safety or effectiveness of the treatment, diagnosis, or prevention of serious conditions when compared to standard applications. Breakthrough therapy designation is a process designated to expedite the development and review of drugs that are intended to treat a serious condition, and preliminary clinical evidence indicates that the drug may demonstrate substantial improvement over available therapy on a clinically significant endpoint. Jemperli was approved for this new indication using the accelerated approval pathway, under which the FDA may approve drugs for serious conditions where there is unmet medical need and a drug is shown to have certain effects that are reasonably likely to predict a clinical benefit to patients. Further clinical trials may be required to verify and describe anticipated clinical benefits of Jemperli, and the sponsor is currently conducting these trials in additional patients with dMMR endometrial tumors. The FDA granted the approval to GlaxoSmithKline. Jemperli is supplied in 500 mg per 10 ml solution in a single-dose vial. It is recommended to be stored in the refrigerator for no more than 24 hours from the time of preparation until end of infusion. Only other update from this week is regarding approval of a new therapy from ADC Therapeutics. The FDA granted approval of loncastuximab tesirine, which goes by brand name Zynlonta, for the treatment of adult patients with relapsed or refractory large B-cell lymphoma after 2 or more lines of systemic therapy, including diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, not otherwise specified, and diffuse B-cell lymphoma arising from low-grade lymphoma and high-grade B-cell lymphoma. Diffuse large B-cell lymphoma is the most common type of non-Hodgkin lymphoma in the U.S. and is a rapidly progressing aggressive disease that is heterogeneous with multiple subtypes. More than 40% of the first-line diffuse large B-cell lymphoma treatments fail. For patients who fail first-line therapy, prognoses are poor, worsening with each line of therapy as the chance for cure or long-term disease-free survival diminishes. Zynlonta is an antibody-drug conjugate targeting CD19, a transmembrane protein that is expressed on the surface of cells of B lineage origin and has been granted accelerated approval by the FDA based on overall response rate. Zenlanta joins a series of diffuse large B-cell lymphoma drugs to score approvals in recent years, including CAR-T meds from Novartis, Gilead Sciences, and Bristol-Myers Squibb. Other meds eyeing the indication include MorphoSys and Incyte's CD19 antibody Monjuvi and Roche's anti-CD79B antibody drug conjugate Polivy. The FDA approval was based on data from LOTUS-2, a large Phase 2 multinational single-arm clinical trial of Zynlonta for the treatment of adult patients with relapsed or refractory diffuse large B-cell lymphoma following 2 or more prior lines of systemic therapy. Results from the trial demonstrated an overall response rate of 48.3%, which included a complete response rate of 24.1% and a partial response rate of 24.1%. Patients had a median time to response of 1.3 months, and the median duration of response for the 70 responders was 10.3 months. In a pooled safety population, the most common adverse reactions were thrombocytopenia, gamma-glutamyl transferase increases, neutropenia, anemia, hyperglycemia, transaminase elevation, fatigue, hypoalbuminemia, rash, edema, nausea, and musculoskeletal pain. Zenlanta will be commercially available in the U.S. shortly. Zenlanta is supplied as a 10 mg lyophilized powder in a single-dose vial for reconstitution and dilution. It is recommended to be stored in the refrigerator. And that's all I have for right now. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll include all links in the show notes below, so please go back and check those out too. Please connect with me on any of your social media platforms and give me feedback on what you heard today. I'd love to know what you thought about the episode. And as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.